I was a first-gen Christian. My family were not believers then. I told them on Easter morning that I accepted Christ, and their reaction was not what I expected. It was not good. All I know is that I felt God's peace on Good Friday night, and I was very sure of my decision. And for the years coming after that, I continued praying for the salvation of my family. Came to a point where there were many opportunities in that particular year where I was able to share more about church with my family, my parents especially, about what I do. I'm very involved with the campus ministry, and they always say that I spend too much time in church, too much time doing church stuff, but I really wanted to honor God, and I stuck on to something that Pastor Kenneth said a long time ago about how if you build God's house, He will build yours. And I took that as a promise that, okay, if I'm going to build God's house, He will build mine. I will see that breakthrough of having my family come to know Christ. That particular year is also when my dad got a bit sick. He had his kidneys were not functioning as well as it should. One day, my dad just really felt ill, and he was just crying out in pain, and I didn't know what to do. And for the first time ever, I prayed for my dad there and then out loud, and he said amen. And that was a breakthrough for me. And one day when I was serving in Nilai, they turned up in church without me knowing. So when I found out, I quickly told Elder Adeline that, hey, can you please look out for my parents? I think they're in service today. And they did. Elder Dan managed to pray with my dad. He noticed that my dad was really touched. And after the word that was shared by Pastor Kenneth, it was very evident that God was working in his heart. At the end of the service, Elder Dan asked if he would like to accept Christ. And my dad told him, I'd like for Ellie to be there. And immediately I got a text from Elder Dan sharing that, hey, I think your dad was really touched during the service. Can you go home and ask your dad how was it? And I was like, a bit shocked. I'm like, okay, what am I to expect? So I went home and I asked my dad, how's church? And he said, Elder Dan came and prayed for us, and then he asked me if I wanted to accept Christ. I said, I would like to wait for you to come home first, or for you to be there. And before I could ask the same question that Elder Dan asked, he said, your mother and I are ready to accept Christ now. And wow, that blew my mind. I had the opportunity to lead both my parents into the salvation prayer that Sunday night, and praise God for that, because it's definitely not what I expected. Sometimes you imagine how things will work out for you, but God really has His best in store, and only He knows how things are supposed to happen. And it was really His perfect timing when they accepted Christ. God can do exceedingly abundantly above all that we can ever ask for or imagine, and really God can answer your prayers, and He's the master of breakthroughs.